Let's take a look at work together 12-4. You do not need to do on your own for 12-3. Okay, so far in Chapter 12, we have calculated earnings, we have calculated deductions, we have filled in that information on two types of financial documents that a business needs to maintain, and that's going to be a payroll register and employee earnings record. The other thing that we physically have to do is we have to pay our employees. We calculated it, but you want to get paid. Like Alex is happy today. Today's payday, right? Yeah. Nice. Okay. Anyone else got payday today? Excellent. Woohoo. Exciting day. Yesterday, you're a Thursday person. So, when we take a look at how businesses do payroll, many businesses will actually have a separate pay or a separate checking account that they use to pay their employees. So what does that mean? Like if I work for a business and I have to go and pay for a bill, I would pay for it out of my regular checking account. But what they will oftentimes do is they'll have a separate pay or a separate checkbook or checking account for their payroll. And what they will do is they will write one big check from the checking account that they write all of the bills out for. That better not be for you. You're going to want to stay for this. Can you stay a little bit? So what we do is that business is going to take and write one check that's going to cover all of the payroll for all the employees. So they would write, if all of you worked for me, I would write one check, and let's say that total payroll was $15,000. I would write one check for $15,000 from my main checking account, and then I would actually bring it to the bank and deposit it into this separate checking account I have over here that I write out individual checks. And the reason that a business would do that is it actually safeguards a lot of their funds, so that way they don't have to worry about any risk or tampering to their main checking account. The other thing that's going to happen is they know that all of the money that's in that account is going to be drawn. Most people tend to cash their paychecks right away. They don't tend to wait. Right? So then they know that all the money is going to be cleared, and it's easier to go through and track. So what we have to do when we make our payments for our employees in accounting is we're going to do that, is we have our regular checks, and then we're going to have our payroll checks. The other thing that happens is when you get paid, you have to have your advice of payment that tells you how many hours you worked, your deductions, because an employer cannot pay you without telling you what is coming out of your funds. So when we look at our checks on here, you're going to see the difference between our regular checks and our payroll checks. You will see, for our example, they've already gone through and given us a completed payroll register, so we don't have to do that now. But I will tell you, your mastery problem, you will have to complete your payroll register, employee earnings records, and write checks. So that's going to be one. If you get it wrong here, it gets wrong there, and then it'll be wrong on the check. So that's a zinger on you. So slow down and get it right. So the first instruction is, it says, prepare Antique Shop's general account check for the pay period ended July 15th. The payment date is July 15th. Balance brought forward from the previous check is $16,542. Payroll account number is 0639583, and says sign your name as the manager of the Antique Shop. So how much am I paying all of my employees? The answer is on my screen. Yes, and where did you find that number? Nope. 16,542 is the amount of that's in the checkbook. That's not how much we're paying them. Not 16,000. 1,600, right? 1,686 cents. Do you see that number right here? We have 2 employees. When I pay my 2 employees, the total amount that I owe them is $1,686. So that is going to be the amount of cash that the business has going out to pay their employees. We owe other liabilities here, but that's a whole nother chapter that we're going to deal with. But what we know is we need to write a check now for $1,686. So when we look at our checks that we have listed here, this first check right here is our general checks, just like we've done before in accounting. Would you agree? Now look at this one right here. Do you see how the stub is completely different? This check stub here deals with all of the things about how many hours they've worked, what their earnings are, and their deductions. So you will also notice in the upper left-hand corner of this check it says general account. In the upper left-hand corner of this check it says payroll account. So the general check, we write out one check for the total amount of all employees, and then we write a separate payroll check for each employee. So let's do that general check first, shall we? The first thing I want to do is I want to put in the balance brought forward, and that's at $16,542. We're going to fill out the check stub first, because that's the way we roll. And we start at the top of it, and I'm going to fill it in with the amount of the check, which is $1,686. The date that we're paying this is going to be July 15th. And it's going to payroll account. That's physically who I'm making the check to, is payroll account. And what is it for? Payroll for July 1st through the 15th. Continuing on our check stub, did they tell us anything about a deposit? Anyone see anything about a deposit? Katie, did you see anything? Nope. So we're going to leave that blank. I'm going to carry it down, $16,542. The amount of this check is $1,683. 86. Thank you, Mrs. Gressel. Can't type today. Good eye, good eye. So then I'm going to go ahead and do the math. I'm going to take $16,542, subtract $1,686, which will give me a new balance being carried forward of $14,941.14. Do we agree with my math? Okay. We always fill out the stub first and then go to the check. Starting with the check, I'll start with the date, and that's going to be July 15th. Paid to the order of payroll account 0639583 for $1,686. Bless you. So step number one when paying employees is to fill out the general account for the total of all payroll. Now step number two is to pay our employees. We do that using our payroll account. And when we do our payroll account checks, we still fill in the stub first. So we have to put in the pay period ending, and that's going to be July 15th. Now, I have to put in the earnings. Notice it says earnings, regular, overtime. So total earnings goes first. So we are going to pay Judy first because she's listed first on our payroll register. What is Judy's total earnings? $1,079, yes. And then her regular earnings is $1,040 and overtime of $39. Then we have our total deductions, and Judy's total deductions is $205.55. Do you see that? Income tax is $48. Social Security $66.90. Medicare $15.65. Health insurance of $60. Other of $15, which gives Judy a net pay of $873.45. Then you go ahead and fill in the check. Signature will be student name. Good question. Jordan, I just made it a little bit bigger. Is that easier for you? I saw you're squinting a little bit. Okay. The 39? Right here. Because that's what OT stands for, is overtime. Yep. Now let's do the same thing for Mike McCune. Where do we get all of our numbers from? Payroll register, right? I'll show you mine in just a second. I just want you to look and try to do it first without just copying what I did. Because you should do it exactly how we did Judy's check. All of your numbers come right from your payroll register. Now, the other thing that you are going to find is this instruction that I have highlighted on the screen right now. This is an easy step to miss because it's part of step number 2. But it says, record the 2 payroll check numbers in the payroll register. Okay, so that's the directions that's given to us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over here to the right a little bit. Do you see this column right here where it says check number? There's a spot here where you have to write in a number. So they want to know what check number did we issue to Judy and which check number did we issue to Mike. So when I look at Judy, we gave her check number 186. So I'm going to take check number 186 and I'm going to plug it in right here, 186. And then Mike, I paid him with check number 187. It just gives us a way to go back and double check in case we ever had questions. If they said they didn't get paid, we can say, look here, this is the check number, this is what you should have received, and so forth. Check answer. Oh, did I forget the account number? Oh, and I put 83 up here. Good Lord.
That's what it's correct.
That is, but I didn't notice that I put it up on wrong. Then we have to do 06. There you go. Sorry. Thank you for noticing that. Do you have your planner so I can sign it?
I don't have
Oh, my goodness.